Well, well, everybody. 29th of July, 2020. And I'll try and keep this relatively brief. Our son Alfie has just confirmed to me that he saw something on the New York Times newspaper confirming that, as had been discussed on the Fox News by Tucker, the United States has got what they're calling rather quaintly off-planet vehicles. Why they don't like the term alien, I don't know, but many people are looking at it and say that's alien. But it's high technology, and they've had it for quite a while, and there has been some talk, actually for quite some time now, that there's going to be what they call full disclosure on UFOs and aliens and the like, that has been a cover-up on and lied about and all that sort of thing for many years, at least since the 1940s, when there was a UFO crash and bodies were recovered from it in New Mexico. There have been other crashes as well, and similar things happened. One was in Arizona with some bodies recovered. Investigations of over 50 years into the whole thing, of all the witnesses and so on, have concluded that it actually occurred. And it's said that the spacecraft was reverse engineered at a location near Area 51, so don't jump to conclusion and say, let's go and search Area 51 as been talked about. There's a place called S4 where it was occurring, and where Bob Lazar, which many people would have heard of, worked on that. He was a physicist. He worked on the craft, and there's much more to it than that. There's a lot online about it, of course, but now some people hate Fox News because they're pro-Trump, and some people hate Donald Trump, of course, too, but that's not the issue right now. As Alfie has said, it's been confirmed, and we're talking about mainstream media, and our daughter Kathleen said, I want to see things, Dad, in mainstream media. Well, the New York Times and Fox News is pretty mainstream. And I would say, and I've been studying the subject for quite a number of years, and I read a number of books over the years on the subject. I am convinced that they exist, but I'm a Christian, by the way. Now, a lot of people would jump to conclusions right away and say, oh, you're a Christian, you must believe that God created the universe only about 6,000 years ago. Well, I don't. I think it's billions of years old. And yes, I do think that God, and believe 100% that God exists, and I accept Jesus as Lord and Saviour. And just by the way, and it doesn't interfere with that, shall we say, to have God creating thousands, if not a million planets with life on them, and intelligent life on many, and even other astrophysicists have said, well, the exoplanets, we've discovered 3,000 to 4,000 of those, and every star in our galaxy has got planets around it. And of course, a lot of other people would jump and say, oh, no, that doesn't prove anything. Well, I have read a lot on the subject, and I can assure you, I did a video in quite the amount of detail on the subject. Well, what is proof? I went into that. What is proof? Well, proof is evidence of something, overwhelming evidence of something. Now, I mentioned the millions of cases of sightings of up close daylight of aliens themselves or craft, and tens of thousands of people seeing a gigantic craft flying over Phoenix, Arizona back in the 1990s was only one example of many. And as I said in my previous video on this, look up remote viewing. It's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. It used to be called ESP, and there's books out on that, and there's absolute proof that it works. And some of the people who have carried out the experiments and gone in trances, seen lots of things, whether we're talking about crimes, whether we're talking about kidnappings and bank robberies and all kinds of things like that, right through to spying before U2 and other spy satellites came into existence. They used these people who could see even under the ground into hidden laboratories and all that sort of thing. Now, I could have a couple of links on this later, and I will, and I could also put a link in there for anyone interested on a movie, a documentary by Lee Strobel, who was a hard-bitten reporter and atheist in Chicago, and who studied the subject of the Bible, and he scoffed at it and all the rest of it for years, and then he now has ended up as a pastor in one of the biggest churches in the United States. And then, as I mentioned to you briefly about Bob Lazar, he was a great skeptic of the whole thing. He was a scientist, as I said, but when he got involved in it, and physically involved in it, that is to say, trying to figure out how these things worked, he really got to understand that they were for real. But the main point I wanted to make right now in brief is that what they are calling a full disclosure of what has happened over all these decades might be happening in the next few weeks or a few months, whatever. I'm just giving a few of my friends and family and others that are interested in the subject, as the Americans say, a bit of a heads up on it. In other words, a bit of information to look out for and examine. I'll have some links for you to have a look at and consider for yourselves. All right, so I welcome any civil and polite comments. No abuse and anger, please, and I would like a little bit of discussion on the subject. So thanks for viewing.